right here. Check this out. Frozen peas. Pea guacamole is going to be very exciting, and making wild blueberry banana oat cookies that are actually not just human friendly of the most human friendly possible, but pet friendly of the most pet friendly as possible. For you guys that love your pets, having a little snack with you, you can share that wild blueberry banana oat cookie. And I just want to give everybody a little reminder here that, not a reminder, but an announcement I'm going to be making right now. There's going to be a pet challenge next week. So look out for the emails, look out what's going on, but a pet challenge, which is going to be incredible because we're talking about celery juice, introducing celery juice to your dogs and cats. It's going to be exciting. Everything about it is going to be exciting. So the pet challenge, just, I'm going to talk about it a little later too as well, but if you can, just keep your eyes open for that. That's next week. The pet challenge is nothing better when you have your pets with you. You have your dogs and your cats and you're sharing foods with them and sharing snacks with them and, taking photos of them. There's nothing better than that because that's what I do. That's what I do. I'm taking photos of my dogs all the time and cats all the time. And especially when they're sipping celery juice, especially when they're having some of my heavy metal detox smoothie, and I'm sharing it with my pets, sharing it with my dogs and cats. So this pet challenge is going to be all about that, which is really exciting. So I'm hoping you guys get ready for that. It's going to be fun. That's next week, so I want to let everybody know. Today's acne, rosacea, dry skin. It's all the skin stuff. Acne is a big one. That's a big one. We're going to talk about strep. Regarding, when it comes down to acne, we're going to talk about the Epstein-Barr virus a little bit too, when it comes down to eczema and psoriasis and other skin conditions. But we're also cooking. So let's just get started right now. I want to get the cookies in the oven before we even go into anything really crazy. I'm not going to start the pea guacamole yet. I'm going to move that aside for a little bit. I'm going to start instead making these incredible wild blueberry banana oat cookies. So I'm going to take the, right here, the oatmeal. Take a look, you guys. What do you think? Looking good? Do you guys like oatmeal? You know how many people are like freaks about oatmeal? They're freaks. It's like a whole different type of person. I mean, am I right? It's a whole different kind of category of person. It's like when it comes down to oats, it's a big deal, oatmeal and oats, and rightfully so because I love oatmeal. I mean, I do. So here we go. We got that going on. Let's get some bananas in there too. I got a bunch of different things in the front. Check it out. I got cucumbers. I even have arugula. I have parsley. I have, I'm going to pop this banana right in here if that's okay. You guys okay with that? Check that out. I'm going to put probably a little bit more banana than, these aren't that big. It's not like it's two big, large bananas. So I'm going to go with maybe 2.5. I'm going to mash these in here. So just give me a second here. Let me grab a fork. Start mashing these in now is what I'm going to do. So I think the bottom line is when it comes to our pets, we love to share food with them. And that's kind of a reason why I also like this recipe because it's pet friendly, which is great too. If you guys got skin conditions, if you're plagued with them, because that's what it feels like for so many people, they go to doctor after doctor after doctor. They're looking for an answer. They're looking for a remedy. It could be so hard in life to be living with a skin condition, really difficult. And just know I feel for you. I really do. I really do. And I think that learning about how the skin condition occurs, big part of healing it, you have to know what you're up against. You got to know what you're battling, or it's just a mystery. If it sits there a mystery forever, and then it's hit or miss. Everything's hit or miss. I just don't want people to have to manage their symptoms, their conditions, their acne, because it's a full-time job to manage, but not have the answers. And you're trying to manage it. Your whole life is based on managing a skin condition, an acne condition. That's your whole life. It's just it's like you're spending all those hours managing And if you're going to put that much time and energy into something like that, let it be because you know what you're doing, you know why you're trying to heal, like what's going on, true root causes, what's the cause of your skin condition, so that all the time and effort you put into your skin condition, it's not being wasted. It's not being wasted. There's good reason in what you're doing. So I'm just mashing these in here like this. And I think I'm going to use, these bananas are small. I think I'm going to take another half a banana right here, plop that in there. And there we go. Mash that in there too. Start mixing this up. Maple syrup's okay for dogs and cats. Of course, you don't want like large quantities. You don't want to give them a cup of maple syrup. Don't do that. Whatever you do, don't just take maple syrup out of the bottle and just, give it to your dog and cat like that. But I got a little bit of maple syrup here. I am going to drop it in. That's okay. And I'm going to mix that maple syrup in here along with the mashed banana. I got the oven on right now too, just letting you guys know. I think it's set for 425. So here we are. Acne, rosacea. How many of you guys are struggling and suffering from rosacea? How many of you guys are struggling from acne? How about that? Right? So many people are. They're a really difficult one too. How many of you guys are struggling with eczema? So many people healed their vitiligo and their eczema, their psoriasis, and their acne in the medical medium community using medical medium tools. I mean, it's miraculous. It's just a beautiful thing to see. So I'm mixing this up right here. There we go. And check this out. I'm gonna throw these in there. There you go, right there. Check that out right there. Lemons, the dried wild blueberries. Popping some in there. Look, I like to put more, probably. I'm gonna put them all in there. I like having more than one in every bite. And especially if I'm gonna be giving this to my dog, giving this to my cat. I actually want more than just a couple in a bite. I want a decent amount of these in there. So I put like a quarter cup, a little bit more than that, third of a cup in here. Mixing this up. There you go. You know what's in the ingredient list in that? On these whole dried wild blueberries? Nothing. It's just wild blueberry. There's nothing. It's like there's no citric acid. There's no natural flavors. That's in everything. Citric acid, natural flavors. You know what's terrible about stuff for dogs? All that citric acid, natural flavor stuff is just, it's riddled in every single dog everything and cat everything. All right, there we go. Okay. I think we got something here. Let's get this tray over here. So give me a second. Pop it over here. I'm gonna grab this. I'm gonna set this up. You guys, if you just got on here talking about skin conditions, talking about acne, but we're gonna also be talking about some of these incredible cookies. We're gonna talk about peak guacamole. So let's just make these into little, you can make them small, you can make them bigger. Let's see what we got here. I'm thinking we're gonna go like with the smaller size. And I love when the medical medium cooking show is live. Whatever happens, happens, and I just have to live with it. It's like you want to make the perfect little cookie, but it's like, well, it's going to go the way it's going to go. I think these are looking good, though. I'm actually feeling pretty confident in this right here. Look. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty confident right there in these cookies. Check it out, you guys. Did you ever try some of these medical medium different cookie recipes? Have you ever tried them? I know that a lot of you guys have. They're insane. They're insane. Really, really good. So I'm just doing this like this. See? You guys can do this. This is easy, right? We're gonna get these in the oven. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna like really go into some details about skin conditions, like how do you get a skin condition? Lupus-style rashes? What is that? Lupus-style rashes? That's always been a fraud. In the medical medium world has uncovered that fraud so many times. Because what happens is the industry, they just say, well, your body's hacking itself, which is fraud. It's total fraud. And then they'll say, oh yeah, that's a lupus-style rash. Really? Well, what's lupus? It's another thing that's also fraud, because they don't give answers. They just don't give any answers. So they get people believing in things like lupus-style rash. Really what that is, it's an Epstein-Barr virus rash. That's what it is. And medical medium information has taught all the details about this kind of stuff for years, so people actually can empower themselves and heal. And it's important because if you're in the dark, you're just stuck. You're stuck. You're just playing games if you're in the dark and you know you're stuck without the answers you need. And the industry is just really peppered in fraudulent information. They don't really fix anything. They don't care to fix anything. You think they do, but the industry doesn't. I know there's real meaningful practitioners and doctors everywhere, and they really want answers, and they care, but they're stuck with defunct fraudulent information from medical research and science. And Info has to showcase where they're going wrong or where they're trying to trick the world, trick sick people, the chronically ill. Chronically ill are still swept under the carpet. The world hasn't changed. They make it seem like everything's just fine and dandy. They're working on so many things for chronic illness communities, but in the end, it's really just sand slipping through, your hands, and it's like you don't get answers. What causes lupus? What causes the lupus rash, or so-called lupus rash? What causes it? What causes eczema? What causes psoriasis? Autoimmune? Well, that's the thing too. They've tagged everything. Skin world too, is just autoimmune. Autoimmune, your body's attacking itself. That's all it is, autoimmune. But that's not how it works. Your body doesn't attack itself. Your immune system doesn't attack your organs. That's not how it works. There has to be something else going on there, like, guess what? A virus or a bacteria. Virus or bacteria. That's what's going on. What bacteria is causing acne? They're even throwing the whole scam of acne is autoimmune now too. They'll do that. And what really, really, really sucks is AI taking information that's already defunct out there. And so when people just, they look at their favorite AI channels and they start typing stuff up, what's happening is they're just getting defunct information. Your body's attacking itself. It's autoimmune. I'm going to just rinse my hands off a little bit over here if you guys are okay with that. There you go. Back over here. All right. All right, you guys, I'm just going to throw this in the oven. Boop. Let's go. Head over there. Come on. Get this open. What do you think? Get this in there. Look at that. Okay, you know what? I did an okay job. I'm feeling better about these cookies now. Let's get this going so it doesn't cool down. I don't want the oven that cool. Okay. So you guys following me though? You got to have your cap on, smart cap. You guys are like the smartest in the industry, in the health industry, is the medical medium community, hands down. You guys know the most. You're the most seasoned. So automatically, but if somebody new here and you're coming on board, get the smart cap on. Make sure you do that. Very important. Let's see. Amber Gardner over there, 144. What a gorgeous kitchen you have today, AW. Exclamation points. Wow. I love all your cooking shows so much. God bless you. Beautiful soul. It's an honor. It's an honor to be here. Thanks. It's amazing. I'm glad you're here. I'm excited. So I'm going to get something else cooking too before we go deep into skin and deep into the derma, deep into the viruses and bacteria that create skin conditions. But it's important to know, like, your body does not attack itself, because what they're saying is this right here really quick before I make the pea guacamole. Pea guacamole, I'm excited about that. Here's what they're saying. Here's an immune cell right here. So everything someone comes down with, pretty much every single condition, every single symptom basically now, they say that your immune cell, you see your immune cell right there? You see your immune cell is going after you and destroying you, okay? Cystic fibrosis, fibrosis of the lungs. Your immune cells are destroying your lungs, autoimmune. That's what they say. Okay, thyroid problems and thyroid disease. They say your immune cells are going after your thyroid, destroying your thyroid. That's what they say, right? Skin, eczema, psoriasis. What they'll say is immune cells are going to your skin, attacking your skin, and destroying your skin. This is how it's done. Nowadays, acne, they're going to say, you know, not regularly, but they do say it often, but now they're just saying your immune cells are attacking your face and your neck and your hairline and attacking all over. But that's not true. Your immune cells are not attacking you. It doesn't work that way. And that's one of the most deranged theories in the medical industry there is, and pharmaceutical and medical research and science industry. That is like the dangerous fraud of all, is saying that your body is destroying itself and killing itself. So what happens is, if your daughter or your son is in the car, your mom, your dad, you're coming back from a doctor's appointment, and your daughter just got diagnosed with lupus, and now all she has to do is just hop on her phone and look up lupus, and it'll say autoimmune, your body's attacking itself. And now your daughter thinks that her body is completely turned on her, or your son believes that his body has completely turned on him, and it sets the stage for nothing but problems. I mean, people already have problems. They're worried about their body in so many ways, and so do teenagers and so forth. So actually, the industry is set for total and complete failure, but yet the system doesn't help anyone out of this. So when children and teenagers and young adults, when they fall victim to the theory from 1952 that your body, your immune system is destroying itself, and that's why you have a condition, when they fall victim to it and the parents fall victim to it, there's nobody saying, hey, let's get you out of that. That's not how it works. Hey, let's try to help you out. That's not how it works. And AI is rigged, and you know, Fakia is rigged, and they're all rigged to actually just for total complete failure for people and young adults and children and teenagers. Just that's how the system's rigged. And it's sick, absolutely deranged and sick, because that's actually not how it works. It was a theory, is what it was. And there you go. By the way, we're live right now. Where else, you know, a stomach can fall out of a dummy, and we're not going to edit it out. So here we are. All right, so let's get a pea guacamole going. I am going to head to the stove, and we're going to do some cooking. Right. Here we are. So check this out, okay? I'm going to pop this in here like this. Frozen peas. That's what we have here, frozen peas, okay? Look at that. This frozen peas going. I'm going to click this baby on. And let's just crank it up all the way. Let's crank it up all the way and just say, you know, what the hell? Let's do it. Why not? Okay. All right. Got the spoon there. Let that heat up a little bit. So I got these green peas, frozen green peas. Couple of little tips. Can't help it. Let's cover them. Just don't eat them out of the package frozen like that. Don't. It says on the package, don't eat like that. Just in case of some kind of contaminant, bacteria, foodborne illness. You just got to always worry about that. Frozen food, you got to be careful in general. You know, just buy stuff like the peas. I'm sure they're fine. It's not like the 38 million eggs that have been just recalled and they say probable death. I mean, come on, think about that, right? Probable death? You know, they just recalled like 50 million eggs. They just, you know, like chicken eggs, right? They just recalled them. And probable death. That's what they say. It's crazy when you think about it. But so don't freak out about a bag of frozen peas. It's not like that, but you just don't want to, defrost them in your hands and just pop them in your mouth and have your kids popping them in their mouth like that. Unless you grew the peas and you picked the pods and you shelled the pods and you put them in a bowl, in a freezer bowl, and you put it in the freezer and you took them out and then you're eating them that way. I'm a big pea fan. Just going to give you the 411. They have the power to heal skin. I just love the pea guacamole. It's a fitting, extremely fitting food for the Medical Meme Cooking Show, being that we're talking about acne and eczema, psoriasis and dermatitis and age spots and liver spots and brown spots and dry skin. And, we're covering all that stuff in vitiligo. I think it's very fitting to actually be doing the pea guacamole, so I'm excited. I got the cookies and the wild blueberry cookies in the oven. Let's go take a look at the stove real quick. There we go. Let me tell you how I do this so you know. Take a look, you guys. You see this? This is how I do this. I'm toasting them, kind of toasting them. I got that griddle on hot, like really hot. Okay? I got it really hot. And basically, one got away. Bear with me. There you go. When one gets away in the stove, you want to grab it. Oh, crap. I think one or two just went flying out of my pan. They're on the floor now, just rolling around somewhere. I don't like to lose any of them. I like to kind of keep them contained in here, but I'm going to have to work with it a little bit. You see this? Now you want them hot in the center of the pea, but what I'm doing is I'm not adding water. I'm using the frozen bits of water that went when they washed and they packaged it. I'm using that water to that condensation that froze inside the pea package. I'm using that to be the moisture. And then, because I want this a dry recipe where these are going to get thrown in the food processor, and I'm going to grind them up, and I'm going to make a good guacamole out of it. There you go. All right. Let's go. Let's figure this out. What to do first? Woo. All right. Okay. Wanda says I'm dealing with rosacea. Rosacea is really, really annoying for sure. Dealing with rosacea and some eczema. Yeah. They actually, what happens is you see one doctor and they'll be like, oh, it's really just eczema. See another doctor and it's, no, it's rosacea. That's what happens. Hang on, you guys. I'm going to work these peas a little bit more here. Bear with me. All right, let's see if I can get into the garlic for a moment. Get a knife. So what happens with that is one doctor might be one way, another doctor might be another way. That's how it works with eczema and rosacea. And you might get lucky and you get a guy or a gal, professional, that turns around and says, I think you got both. I think you have both. There are these situations where you'll get a good practitioner will at least identify and say both. And really, in the end, no, they don't know what the cause is or anything. They don't have an idea what the cause is. Head back over. Sorry, guys. All right. Here I am. Fun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop up a little onion on here too. I'm just going to let you know these knives are super sharp, super insanely sharp, okay? Like really sharp. And I like dull knives. I use dull knives a lot, and they'll just be super dull. And then I get the hang of that super dull knife. And kind of your limitations. You want to be careful. You don't want to cut yourself. But what happens is when you use a really sharp knife after using a dull knife, oh man, you be deadly careful. So I had terrible eczema since I was born. I healed 100% with medical medium. 28-day cleanse was the best for me. It was a brutal road. Healing is so hard, but even harder is to be sick and just surviving and managing. Managing an illness. These are coming along great. That's cooking way faster than I expected right now. Managing an illness. What's hard about that is if you're trying to manage an illness, but you don't know the cause of the illness. You don't know the cause. That's the hard part. We're going to get into that. We are going to get into that. Bear with me. Multitasking. I got peas that are about to burn on the stove. I got cookies in the oven. I'm trying to talk about serious health topics. And I want to give tips, little kind of cooking tips too, wherever I can. Like I said, these knives are sharp and I am mindful about it and being like real careful, really careful. If you guys just got on here, just bear with me. We're going into skin problems. Maybe you're somebody with all kinds of skin issues. Maybe you've been diagnosed with kind of oddballs. At this point, though, everybody's getting diagnosed with oddballs, you know. All those years, I don't know what it is, 30 years before I stopped working one-on-one in the office, 2 offices I had. What happened, everybody would send oddball problems, you know, like real rare conditions to me. All these doctors would send conditions they never even heard of and symptoms they never even heard of. And you know, Spirit would have the answers to why these symptoms were there. But now so many people are getting so many different neurological symptoms and skin conditions. It's more common. More common. Okay, that's almost ready. All right, I got some onion right here. I'm just moving it to the side. I got garlic. I didn't chop up the garlic yet. I'm gonna chop up the garlic in a little bit. I'm seeing what I want to put in my pea guacamole. Oh, don't lose that one. That one almost went like flying across right there. I almost lost that one. I did. That one went flying. Okay. I'm going to actually put little bits of red bell pepper in the pea guacamole, maybe on top. Okay. There we go. But I don't want them hunky, big hunkers. I don't want big hunkers. So I'm just going to be doing a little bit of... Isn't that fun? Isn't that fun? It's like a stress release, right? Is cooking a stress release or is it a stress creator? Which one is it? Somebody tell me. I would say we're pretty much there. So I'm going to do a little test. I want to see how hot they are in the center. They're done. These babies are done. Let's give them a minute to cool down a little bit. All right, I think I'm going to put a little tomato, not go crazy, like too much tomato in there. I don't want it like just mixed up all cockeyed. I want to make sure it's like nice little cuts of tomato. Tomato, what an evil, evil, evil fruit, huh? God, so evil. Man, I don't know if you guys were around or anything. Were you around for this? But I mean, tomatoes, if you were somebody trying to seek health advice or health from knowledge from somebody in the health movement back anywhere from 10, 20, 30 years ago, 8 years ago, they would say, stay away from tomatoes. They're the cause of inflammation, that they wreak havoc and all that. Do you remember that? tomatoes were the evil, evil thing. And I remember I was doing a lecture and I brought up tomatoes and everybody just freaked out. Like, it's the craziest thing I've ever seen, right? Meanwhile, you don't hear jack. You don't hear jack about tomatoes now. You don't. I mean, every now and then somebody will just squeak out like, oh, they're bad for you, they're a nightshade. But like, you don't hear jack anymore. Isn't it interesting? It's very interesting. Yeah, it really is. All right. So what I'm going to do here is move these over here. Oh boy, hang on. Hang on. We're gonna get one. Yeah. Check this out, you guys. I gotta check the cookies for a second. Going over here, come on. I would say these are done. Yep, I would say these are done. Yep, the medical medium cooking show is back. That's all I can say. It is definitely back, all right? It really is. It's back. Not there. Well, I'm gonna wing it. That baby's hot. You guys know, like, I don't really mind so much. Like, I'll just grab like something really hot, I think, in the whole bit, but I'm not grabbing that tray. No way. You couldn't get me to do that right now. All right. I could do a couple different things. I could just throw this right on here like this. Maybe that's the way to try to do it. Huh. What do you guys think? Oh, these look incredible. So I made them kind of smaller. I've made them before, but I made these a little bit smaller, so I had to catch that quickly. Okay. Moving that. I think I'm going to stick this back in the oven, actually, and just leave it in there. Get out of my way. All right. Check this out, though. What do you guys think? Take a look. We'll do a top view on their side view. Look at that. Hey, Anthony, could you please talk about psoriasis and maybe share some extra tips? It's so hard to get rid of it. Absolutely. I'm definitely going to be talking about that. I'm going to be talking about all the different skin conditions. Psoriasis is going to be on top of the list. I just want to get a little bit of this stuff out of my way for a moment. The Medical Meme Cooking Show. I think what I'll do is I'll put this here. With psoriasis, what happens is that they kind of come up with these names, and yet, once again, you know, when someone gets diagnosed with psoriasis, they just, what is it though? What is it really? Like, what causes it? What happened? Why is there a psoriasis issue? Why is there, you know, scabs and flaking and pain and itching and burning sensations and so much so? And here's what's really, really crazy about it all. It's not everybody's psoriasis feels the same. It just doesn't. You could be somebody with a very low pain tolerance, somebody with really sensitive nerves, and your psoriasis is devastatingly, like, hellish. And it could be a psoriasis that just every nerve it hits in the skin, you're crying. You can't itch it, you can't scratch it, you're suffering. And you could be somebody that just got diagnosed with some kind of plaque psoriasis or some variety of psoriasis, and it's bad, and it hurts, and it's painful, but you're not going to feel the same thing somebody else is going to feel. Everybody's different. Even when it's very severe, each person feels it differently. They feel it differently. There's no like playbook where, oh, you have that? Well, this is how you feel, and that's all how you feel. Man, there's so many differences. There's so much stuff going on with all of that. It's really a big part of it all. When you're thinking about psoriasis, think about your liver, right? Skin conditions, especially all of them. Eczema, psoriasis, you're thinking about your liver right there. So that's important to know. So it's about healing your liver. Eczema psoriasis is caused by a virus called Epstein-Barr, a variety of Epstein-Barr that creates a dermatoxin. The dermatoxin is something that's so agitating to the skin, it's not getting flushed out of the body. The lymphatic system's clogged up because the liver's clogged up. So even if you do all this lymphatic drainage, it's not going to fix the liver. And in that process, what happens is that the dermatoxin that's being released out of the liver by the Epstein-Barr virus, that dermatoxin ends up floating around a little too much. It's not being excreted. It's not being eliminated through your stool. It's not being urinated out properly. And so now it's free floating and it's got a lot of metal in it. And that dermatoxin is high in metal. That dermatoxin ends up going down the arms, down the hands. That dermatoxin ends up going, it recirculates. So what it's doing is it's recirculating, going back up into the liver, recirculating, go back up to the liver, being released out of the liver, back up into the liver. And that dermatoxin produced by the Epstein-Barr virus is so potent and irritating and skin allergic. I mean, you're allergic to it on the skin. You end up getting patches of this dermatoxin stored up on your skin in different areas. So those patches store up and they sit there. And when they sit there, they end up breaking out because guess what? The only way that dermatoxin can leave your body is through your skin. So the problem with that is because it's the only way you can actually get rid of that dermatoxin, you're going to end up with all the patches for psoriasis and eczema. So the eczema and the psoriasis is just going to be blowing up everywhere on somebody. And what that is, hey, there's nowhere for it to go. It cannot go anywhere. That dermatoxin can't go anywhere. A dermatoxin is a toxin that tends to ride up into the skin or be a problem on the skin or underneath the skin. And in this situation, you got a bug. That bug is a virus. That bug is the Epstein-Barr virus. That Epstein-Barr virus camps out in the liver for a lifetime. It builds up so much sludge, so much byproduct sludge that's dermatoxic. So much of that sludge then ends up pounding through the veins, it gets clogged up in the lymphatic system, clogged up everywhere, and then it ends up in the bloodstream way too long, and only place, once again, like I said earlier, the only place for it to go is out of the skin. So now you got that dermatoxin trying to get out of the skin, and then when it's doing that, you're erupting into whatever variety of, here's the thing, whatever variety of dermatoxin we're talking about. Is it mercury-based? Is it some other type of base? Is it aluminum-based? Is it copper, aluminum, and mercury? Is it arsenic-based? Is it nickel? Is it lead? What variety of dermatoxin from that Epstein-Barr virus and which variety of virus makes its own marker? That means its own dermatoxin. It's not the same as somebody else's. So now your eczema is a little different than somebody else's eczema. Your psoriasis is a little different than somebody else's psoriasis. All right, let's figure this out. Okay, God willing, let's take a look here. So I'm dropping these peas in here. Oh my God, the only thing is I make such a mess in the kitchen. I just do. And some things just never change. I don't know why. I mean, how are you guys? How are you guys in the kitchen? Because I do make a mess. I got now like 30 peas on the floor. Got one kind of here. All right, what I'm going to do is move this over here. So, hang on, because we're live. There we go. I'm going to move these over here for a second. There we go. I mean, I'm doing everything I can not to eat that. What about those dark, flat, wart-like things we get on our back? We'll talk about that too. definitely. And I'm going to move this over. There we go. All right. Okay, so here's the thing. You can put dried spices in here if you're really a dried spice person. You can do that. I think what I'm gonna do is put a clove of garlic in here. So I am gonna do that, all right? I'm not gonna put like the tomatoes in there and the red bell peppers and the onions. You don't wanna blend your onion in there. You don't wanna do that. You'll just destroy it. You'll ruin your pea guacamole. It's very important too. If you're somebody that is really interested in having this delicious, incredible pea guacamole, then you don't want to do that. So don't just start throwing everything in that blender or that food processor. It's a bad idea. I'm just saying, it's a bad idea. Okay. I just want to get one of these. All right. So I'm just going to put a clove of garlic. Fresh herbs, you'll see a whole bunch I got out here. I got some rosemary. I got, I think I had some sage. Yeah, some sage here. I got some arugula. You don't throw arugula in there and also grind that up into the pea guacamole. You want to make it like this, but what I will do right here is I'm going to throw, I'm not going to throw, I'm going to place a little bit of lemon and lime in here. Look at that. These look so good. Oh, that lime smells so good. That's crazy. You ever get a lime and there's no juice in it? This one's kind of like that. Do you ever get a lime and you squeeze it and you're like, what the is going on? And you just squeeze all squeeze all you can. Did you ever get one of those? I've seen limes where the juice just pours out of it. It really does. But I'm getting some lime in here, just like that. Simple, simple, simple. And I'm doing some lemon. I'm not over lemoning it. I don't want to over lemon it because then it's going to be too tart because you're not cutting it with oil. This pea guacamole is not being cut with tahini. It's not being cut with oil. This is a healing recipe. This is a healing recipe. I have to say that. It's critical to know what it is. You start putting olive oil in it. Sure, olive oil is good in many ways. And yeah, I like olive oil, but you're trying to heal something? You don't want too much olive oil in something. Tahini, I love tahini. Oh my God, I love sesame seeds. But I'm not putting it in this. This is to heal skin, to heal a skin condition. This is to help heal you. Very important. So what you're seeing here is there's no coconut oil going in here. I know coconut oil is okay, but it's not going to help. You don't want to over-fat this pea guacamole. You don't want to fat yourself to death because everybody's eating so much fat anyway. They're fatting themselves to death. That's what they're doing. Even if they're skinny, they're fatting themselves to death. They're still killing their pancreas. They're still getting insulin resistance. Even if they're skinny, you don't want to fat yourself to death. You don't want to be putting nut butters in here, peanut butter in here, oils in here, all kinds of stuff like that. This is a pea guacamole minus everything, minus all overt fats. Keep that in mind. Minus that. I just got to make sure I drill that in a little bit because someone's going to, I'm going to go make a pea guacamole. And they just all of a sudden open up like a couple avocados. And now they're throwing peas in there and they're mashing up. Hey, that's good though. If you want a dish that's not as healing, but you want it delicious too, on that level, yeah, make yourself a guacamole and throw peas in it, that's something that's good. But let's not go there. Let's go here, okay? Lemon, lime, fresh herbs. I might put a little, like a sage leaf in there. I'm gonna let that grind up. Strong, gonna be a strong flavor. You ready for this? Rosemary. These are medicinal. Medicine. Medicine. This is medicine. This is medicine. Can't put that in there. What about those dark flat wart-like things? I know I got to answer that, and I'm just letting you know that I haven't forgotten. I want to talk about skin tags. I want to talk about moles. I want to talk about age spots. I want to talk about brown spots, liver spots. There's a lot of things I want to cover, so I'm going to encompass that whole talk in a little bit. So I know you've been waiting for that answer. Okay, so I got those in there. So that's pretty much it. Okay, All right, let's go. Oh, for you salt addicts, for you people that love salt so much, like you're addicted to salt, you're a salt addict, okay? I'm gonna put a little bit in here for you. How's that sound? All right, there you go. Me, I don't use salt personally. I'm not a big salt person. I like celery juice as a salt. Your produce looks amazing. Hey, thanks. That's awesome. I'm gonna get myself an orange in a minute too. You can put a little orange in here. Let's head to my fridge. Just reminded me, let's go take a look at my fridge. Let's head over there. All right, I'll pop open this fridge right here. Check this out, you guys. I got my green leaf lettuce right up there. I got my red leaf lettuce up here. See that? It's pretty cool. Butter leaf lettuce. Can't find butter leaf lettuce anymore. It's insane. I mean, different green leaf lettuce, right? Got some apples. Been eating those lately. More lemons, duh, right? Celery over here. Gotta have your celery. Got to have your celery. Asparagus? Mm-hmm. Come on, asparagus. It's a medicinal food, okay? Radishes, you got some broccoli, cauliflower. It'll just give you a kind of a look right there. Take a look in there, right? And I'm grabbing an orange on the side, okay? Yeah, that's what I'm gonna grab. So you got the artichokes, which I also love, but there you go. Cucumbers, some grapes there. Instead of grab an orange. You guys are okay. I do like a little bit of orange in the pea guacamole. It's a little bit on the sweeter side, but I do like it. OMFG. Crystalish said, OMFG, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. Like in the store? What? What? Like in the store, you like my fridge? Yeah, that's my fridge. Yeah. Yeah, and I don't take it for granted, okay? All right, I praise every bit of that fridge and what's in that fridge. Dream fridge, dream fridge. It's a dream fridge, okay? You love the fridge view? Cool, I'll do more in the fridge. You want me to do more of that in the Medical Meme Cooking Show, or is the fridge annoying? Is it annoying? You love you love the refrigerator? Amazing. Pylorin, cool camera angles, and these artichokes. Did you see those sick artichokes, man? They were sick. Dude, they were sick. Wow, this is beautiful, Cab says. This is beautiful. Yeah, you know, I mean, I can do more fridge stuff. The fridge, so you like it. All right. I'll do more fridge stuff, okay? I'll make it happen. All right, I'll tell my team, get it going with that fridge. Okay, now that's a fridge, Suzanne says. That's a fridge. Wondering, wishing, your fridge is gorgeous. Isn't it? I'll let you guys look at another. I'll rip it open for a second, okay? I'll rip it open. I'll keep it open for a second, okay? All right, let me just take a look, okay? Hi, guys. I'll wave to you. There it is. And then you can see whatever else is in there, too. There's red cabbage in there, cauliflower, broccoli. Down in the drawer over there, I got potatoes, carrots, something else. I got a bowl of cherries in there. I got grapes on the top, and I got some, you know, I mean, that's pretty much it. But that's medical medium fare. That's medical medium fare. Just glad you guys like it, that's all. I love your fridge. It's my happy place. Amazing. Well, you guys, this is so cool. You know, all this time, you want that fridge? All this time, it's like, shouldn't I be showing everybody my fridge? Shouldn't I be doing that? You know, like, you want that fridge? Amazing. Amazing. All right, okay. Some audio's coming through here. I think we have a little tech glitch. Let's go. All right, so here's what's going on with this. If you'll see, I blended this. I don't want a pea soup. You love we love Marja, you love the cooking show? I'm gonna be doing more cooking show, like big time. I love the cooking show. More fridge, amazing kitchen. Amazing. Yes, we love the fridge. Laugh out loud. Cat. Incredible. Valerie, more cooking. Cool. Okay, man. I'm doing it for sure. Thank you. Ingrid said, nice fridge. More fridge shots. All right, you got it. It's going to happen. The fridge view was amazing. It's going to happen. What about the stove view? The stove was cool. All right. But I've always done that. You guys have seen my stoves, right? All right. The fridge and the pots and pans. You're so funny, W. Is that giant fridge or is that just a camera angle? It's a pretty big fridge. It's insane. Actually insane. All right, so check this out. I don't want to blend this to death. I don't want to do that. Keep that in mind. Definitely do fridge stuff. We love to see great food stocked in the fridge. Barbara says, you got it. You know, like, duh. Like, what was I thinking? Like, duh. How many years have I been doing the medical meme recipes, medical meme cooking show? I never opened up my fridge. It's like one day I was just like, whoa, shouldn't we do fridge? I love your cooking show every week, please. You got it. I'll do it. I'm on it. I'm going to do it. Shannon, your fridge is a total mind blower compared to what we've been programmed to believe that should be inside it. Did you see all the condiments? Did you see all the apple cider vinegar condiments and all the sauces with citric acid and natural flavors? You see all the canola oil in that fridge? Did you see all the dairy in that fridge? See how much dairy I have in my fridge? You see that? I'm like, see how much milk, cheese, and butter was in there? Like, oh my God. You know, I'm kidding. Jennifer says, love all of this. So fun. Maybe you can tell us what you're cooking next time so we can all cook together. I think that's a great idea. Thank you for that. That's good constructive criticism. That is very, very on. Yeah. Narelle says, please, AW, tell me, are all the freckles sign of sluggish liver or some are God created as he finds them beautiful? God does find them beautiful and they are. So always remember that. And so, yeah. Keep that in mind. And we'll edge upon the freckles too. Okay, so check this out, all right? I like food processors. Everybody sticks stuff in blenders. I totally get it. I'm not judging anybody. I like blenders too, don't get me wrong. But yeah, people love to use their blender and not a food processor. I'm a food processor kind of person. Any excuse I can get to use one, I will. I can't believe how happy it makes me to see your fridge. The things that make me happy compared to pre-MM. Fly on the wall? Is that pre-MM with the fly on the wall? Amber Gardner says, medical medium cooking shows make life better. Can't stop smiling. Thank you. I'm blown away, you guys. I feel the love. I really do. I feel the love, okay? I do. I want you guys happy. I want you guys healthy. It matters to me. It matters more than you guys know. It's my every waking moment in life is I want to see people heal and get the information they need. Very important. So what I'm going to do is, come up this here. Can you see that a little better, you guys, on this view? Medical Meme Cooking Show is live right now. It's not a pre-recorded episode of sorts. It's not. Quite the opposite, actually. Okay. All right. So here is the pea guacamole. So you're looking at this consistency right here. This is what you want. You can look on top down and see what you see. See that? And I might even try to bring it up. I haven't tried this yet. But can you guys, wow, that is actually really cool. Okay, that's the consistency right there. Check this out. See, you don't want pea soup. You want pea guacamole. You don't want pea soup. You want it green. So what I did on the stove was, remember, I had it hot, really hot. I did not put the lid on it. Keep that in mind too. The lid was not, this is key, or you're gonna have a kind of like a green pea baby food color and consistency. You don't want that. I had this pan hot. I put those frozen peas in and I watched them, I coddled them to make sure they didn't burn, but it evaporated the water and it made a drier, like pea type of, it's still, you know, moist, but drier. And so that makes it work. And they're not, you keep that color, which is amazing when you keep that color. It's a big deal. Okay, let's start thinking about what we want on here. I would probably mix a few of these chopped onions in here, is what I'll do. Yeah. Hold on a sec, you guys. I'm gonna mix a few of these in here. Now there's already garlic blended in here, but you don't wanna go crazy on the onion. And I'm gonna mix a few of these red bell peppers and a few of these tomatoes in here. Not a lot at the start. I'm gonna put that on top, dressing it. Love, love, love the cooking shows, showing us great food, and your fridge is amazing. Healing Shelb. Okay. Thank you. Truly honored. Seriously, you guys, truly honored. I always feel so happy after watching you, Barbara says. Okay. So what I did was I just mixed a few of those in here, depending on your customer, meaning your family person, family member, best friend, guest, visitor, depending on what they might like. So we already have lemon, we already have lime in here. We already have a little garlic that was blended in. Now we're just mixing a few onions and a few red bell pepper pieces and a few tomato pieces in there. Not going crazy, but we're gonna then top off with a couple of herbs. Let's just get chopping up a little herb action. I'm not gonna put arugula on in big pieces like this, okay? So I'm just gonna give the arugula a little chop. I'm gonna make it small. Okay, there we go. Sprinkle a little bit of arugula right on top. Take a look. Just right on there, just like that. It's gonna give it a spicy edge. Check this out, okay? You can do cilantro, but I'm switching right now, and I'm going with parsley. I'm a parsley freak. I really am. This so makes my day. Thank you a million, Lee Shepherd says. So this is parsley. I love cilantro in everything. Keep that in mind. I am also a cilantro freak. We know that. I mean, come on. But I am a parsley-aholic. I need a 12-step program is what I need. I need to join a 12-step program for parsley, to be honest. That's how much I love parsley. So I'm just chopping it up. I'm not mixing the parsley in. I'm just gonna drop some parsley on top, okay? Right on top, just like this. I'm gonna put a little bit on top again. All right, here we go. Now I'm gonna take the rest of these tomatoes and red bell pepper. I'm gonna throw it on top. I'm gonna take a little bit more onion and put that on top like this. You guys see this? Oh, I love the mess I make. Okay, I am going to now put more parsley, sprinkle it on top like this. And I know this is probably a no-no because someone's gonna complain if they have this. You know, there's a lot of people that just can't handle rosemary, get it. I am gonna put a little touch of rosemary on top, and I know someone's not gonna like it. Let me just get a little bit here. Let me do more so I can actually chop it. Sometimes you need, chop it fine, you actually need enough of it there to do so. Just bear with me. You guys have the patience of saints. Patience of saints. I swear to God, you do. All right, I'm just gonna do this for a second. Gather it back up. Yep, up again. Thanks, guys, for waiting. I had the worst acne my whole life. Thanks, Anthony. Thanks to you and SOC. I'm rid of it. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Meaning, I'm so blown away and so honored. You worked hard. You did the work. I can only do so much. I can only message the information from SOC. I can only do so much. You're the one that said, I'm getting rid of this acne. I'm taking this information from SOC. I'm taking this information AW's talking about, and I'm gonna go and I'm gonna do this, okay? I have the greatest respect for you, all right? Greatest respect for you. right, a little bit of this on top, like that. Remember, rosemary's strong. Put a little too much on, you blew it. Can't take it away. Once it goes on, you can't take it away. Put too much on. Freckles or angel kisses, Chris B said. That makes sense to me. That does. That makes a lot of sense to me. Get ready for this. Little orange on top. Get ready for this. A little bit more lemon, just a touch. Don't want to go crazy. Now let's talk about crudité. Something of that sort. Okay? So let's talk about that now. What are you going to use as a tool to dip into your guacamole? See, Elena says, Anthony, just wanted to say thank you. Info saved my life. I went through hell. And that, when someone says that in the medical meme community, that's serious stuff. I mean, they went through hell. Like, it is legit what they went through. I went through hell and was on deathbed. My God. Thank you for everything. You know, it gets me a little welled up inside, because it's not something I hear and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, oh yeah. I hear it. I know what that is. I know, it's not just a SOC and the connection that was placed upon me, and understanding people on that level and a health level, on an intimate level of their sickness and their suffering. And it's not just that, it's more than that. It's also the decades of helping people. And I know what that is. And you just know that my greatest respect, okay? Because you fought for it. And you really did. And you took this information, you fought for it, Elena. God bless you. God bless you. Truly, God bless you. So I'm going to peel this cucumber right here, and I'm going to make kind of like some tools to eat the guacamole with, if that's okay. Rid of this here. All right. I mean, you could do it different ways. You can cut them in long pieces like this. You can also cut it in pieces like this where you're doing it this way. Okay? See, long style. Boom, 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 boom. Take a look, right? I like that. Get a tray. Let me look for one. All right. I'll pop these out here. So you can use these as tools. Okay. I'm going to grab an orange bell pepper. I haven't used that one yet. We are so happy you went live today. We're really thankful for your lighthearted energy of your cooking shows and live streams. 144. That's the number right there. That's the number. That number's a powerful number. I know numerology, and over the years with the New Age and everything, and all the different, everybody's like, freaking out about certain numbers like 1111, or they're freaking out about different numbers like 1113 and everything. But the number of goodness, the number of faith, the number of connection to the ether, to the angels, the number to connect God, and all of that is 144. So what I'm doing is I'm cutting like a certain size here, where it's like I'm thinking about company. I'm thinking about like what would company say when they saw this right here? Would they say, okay, I can use that in there, and the whole bit? Yep. There's another piece right here. So what else do I have in here too? Oh, check this out, okay? I'm gonna make onion wedges. Now this is a sweeter onion. It's bearable for certain people. This is a sweeter one. Yep. So what I'm doing is cutting a wedge. Take a look, you guys. Here, you see the wedge right here? It's a wedge. It doesn't always work out, could fall apart on you, but I'm cutting a wedge. Get ready, another wedge. You can cut them thinner if you've got a really good, strong onion. The only thing is, if you're a sensitive onion person, this could be just really annoying. Let's see here. I have some other lettuce over here too. Some other pieces of lettuce right here. Some different like sizes of lettuce and so forth. Look at that. There's one right here, okay. Okay, you know, I don't know, maybe, okay, take a look at this. First of all, kind of clear this up a little bit. Everything's not sliding around. There you go. Okay, let's take a look at what we have. Here it is right here. Boom. We got the pea guacamole. How incredible is that, okay? Look at that. Get ready for this. A little bit of a crudité, or maybe just implements, maybe just feeding tools, maybe just eating tools. What do you want to call them, right? Little eating dispensers, right? But there you go right there, okay? Pretty cool, right? And so you could do it this way. You can make a little bowl of your own. Let me go do that. All right. I don't know if you guys can see this over here. What do I want? What about this? Oh, yeah. Look at that. You guys see that right there? Look at this. How cool is that? Okay, now let's be kind of careful here. I just feel like pretending company's over. You don't want to just start jamming this in here and mashing it up so it looks all beat up. You want people to feel like, whoa, that's fresh and I'm going to something fresh. You want people to feel that way, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm scoop some of this. Look at that. Scoop some of this guacamole in here, right? There you go. I mean, I could do a little bit more because I don't know. I can eat. Can I put a couple of these here? Take a look. Maybe you get a good camera shot on that too. Look at that. This is insane. This is insane. Okay, I'm going to put a few of these in here because I want to have some of those. And you know what? I'm the wedge kind of guy when it comes down like onion wedges. I mean, you may not want to do that because there's nothing in here to really cut it. Like there's no pork fat in here to cut that kind of bite of that bite of an onion. That's not there. So you can cut that edge. That's what it is. Take the edge off. God, looking for the words. Take the edge off. That's what you want to do. So there it is right there. And then you can take a spoon of sorts. Let's find one. Take a spoon. Okay. Look, I'm doing it. Let me do it like civilized. Let me do civilized, right? Every time I get invited to like, I don't know, like a dinner, and it's just like high profile person, invites me to a dinner, and it's like maybe a billionaire or something, and there's just like, A-dubs, are you coming over? I'm like, I don't know, I'm kind of busy right now. I'm trying to finish up a book right now, plus more. Come on over. I come over. It's like, everything's placed so nice. Everything's so great. And I'm sitting there like with my hands and I'm like digging in like, and, and everybody's like, hey Dubs, did you like the guacamole? And then I'm like, yeah, I did. I'm stuffed right now. What can I tell you? That's insanely good. Like, that's better than the last time I made it. I made it for myself, right? And that's just like I'm on a cooking show, right? I made it for myself, and it didn't even taste like a fraction. It's like, this is insane. What happened? If you want to do this, I want to try this, and we're going to talk about eczema and psoriasis a little bit. And we kind of covered some of it, but let's go. Here we go. Look at that. Okay, so what this is right here, Info saved me from migraines and so much more. Wish more of my surroundings would listen and use medical medium information. Pray to the unknown angels to lead them to Info. Whoa, yoga planned. Check this out, right? That's actually mind-blowing, by the way, and I'm so glad, because migraines are unforgiving. They're unforgiving. They just are. They just are. Susan Smith says, many of us are financially challenged, but though I can't do everything, I can do a lot with the food choices. That's so good. You really can with a lot of the medical medium information and food choices. The benefits to my health have been huge in so many ways. That's incredible. So what this is this is an onion wedge right here, so I'll get a top camera view. That's an onion wedge. I sliced it. It's more of a milder onion. You get a really aggressive, brutally aggressive onion. You can't do that with this unless you have something to really cut it, like an overt fat. And even then, I've seen onions ruin everything. But what you see right here is an onion slab, bloop, and then you got that on there, and I'm gonna take a bite, okay? Oh yeah, here's the onion. Yep. Yep, cable, yep. All right. That's the onion slab. Problem just now is I underestimated the power of that onion. My eyes are watering right now. I underestimated the power of that onion half. Yeah. It's actually, I better, oh crap. That was so edgy. Yeah, I thought that was a sweeter onion. I just have to hurry up and get like a little lettuce and a little guacamole in me immediately. Sorry, guys. Oh my God. Okay, let's talk a little bit about some medical stuff. Acne. I just want to cover some really important like pieces of acne. You're a little kid. MD with spirit. Dr. Fon, watch out for aggressive onions. You're a little kid. And you end up with an ear infection. That's strep. Otitis media. That's strep. Happens all the time. Your sinus infection. That's not a flu-related sinus infection. Just a bacterial sinus infection. That's strep. UTIs, that's strep. So what happens is strep is this thing, this little bacteria, okay? So many groups, different groups of strep, it's insane. Well over 50 groups of strep, easily. Do I have lettuce in my teeth? Over 50 groups of strep. And what happens with strep is strep gets trained to antibiotics. And yeah, you're in a position in your life, you have no choice to take an antibiotic because you really don't know what else to take. You don't know what else to do. And you can be in a crisis point where it got you already a crisis point. And antibiotics become this food for strep over time because strep elevates above the antibiotics. So the different strains, the different groups of strep and the strains and the varieties in each group are insane, the amount of strep. I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds of varieties of strep. And they've only tagged so many in the industry, medical research and science. But strep is the kind of thing the kind of bacteria that loves to become immune to antibiotics, where then they have to switch an antibiotic. And they're like, oh, you don't do good on this one, then we got to do this one. You don't do good on that, and your regular penicillin's not working, so then we got to go to something else. And they move on to different streps. You got a UTI, let's go, Cipro. Now they're putting you on Cipro as your antibiotic. It's like they change it up for a lot of different people. They're getting multiple UTIs, and they're getting multiple ear infections. They're getting multiple conjunctivitis, and they're getting multiple different problems. They're strep related and ear infections and different things like that. And strep can elevate and kind of, after a while sidetrack the antibiotic, and then you need a stronger antibiotic. And that happens to a lot of people when they're young, even when they're young. But acne is a window into the past with antibiotics and ear infections and sore throats and strep throat as well. And so what happens is strep ends up going dormant, or not totally dormant, but dormant enough, sits inside the liver, It hides inside the lymphatic system. It'll sit there for 10 years. It'll sit there for 12 years. You could have taken an antibiotic at 8 years old. You could have been 8 or 9 years old, had an antibiotic for an ear infection like otitis media or something like a middle ear infection. And the doctor's sticking little steroid tubes, in your ears and in wicks and the steroid wicks and everything. And you're this little kid and you got strep, and strep could have been passed down from mom and dad. It could have been picked up anywhere in school. So many places to contract strep. But what happens is the strep ends up being, it lays dormant for the most part. You go through life a little bit and then your immune system drops. Like for women in the menstrual cycle, their immune system drops, and then all of a sudden the breakout. And all of a sudden, then boom, the acne breaks out. As the acne breaks out, it goes from here. I know you guys probably can't see this that good, but it goes from here to there, right? And then you see all that sebum, and it feels like pus and sebum and all that. See it all right here. Flip it over here. Here's what normal follicles, and you got the fat cells right here underneath, right above the derma, bottom of the derma, and you got your follicles and all of that. And then you're about to get a whole batch of acne because strep is coming out through the lymphatic system now. And as it's coming out through the lymphatic system, boom, you now have acne building right here. Here it is. And now your acne and your sebum oil. Sebum oil is to try to stop the strep. So it's your body saying, oh my God, we have to throw something on this bacteria. This bacteria is getting out of control. This person, this body is up against a strep infection, a strep battle. And so what happens is your body's like, we need sebum oil. We have to use sebum oil to try to dumb down that bacteria as fast as possible. So now you're getting all the sebum oil explosions and stuff, and now you're getting acne. You could be somebody that suffers from just small bouts of acne, and you could be getting acne when you're just having your period as a woman. You can get acne as a teenager because puberty, what happens there is your immune system drops. So, and when puberty hits, immune system drops, strep bacteria explodes, and you can have the worst acne as a teenager, like what feels like the worst acne on the planet. Your whole back's covered with acne. That's your lymphatic system become completely infested with strep bacteria. And fine, it's fine. I mean, it's part of life. But there's a way to try to battle strep with info, and certain foods feed strep. And so what happens is with strep bacteria, it loves the gluten. It's not just an inflammatory food, you guys. It's not just, people who are not in the medical meme community, you happen to just be filing in right now and you're watching this live, the medical meme cooking show, is gluten's not just inflammatory. Gluten, which the industry doesn't know, neither do any of the podcast doctors or whoever else, influencers, whatever you want to say, they don't know that gluten actually feeds the bacteria. So strep bacteria eats it. It fuels off of it. It fuels off of certain foods, corn and canola oil and stuff like that, and corn products. And then it proliferates and grows, and when it proliferates and grows, it builds up more in the liver and the lymphatic system, and then here you are, you're 20 years old, you're 19 years old, you're 17 years old, you're 30 years old, and boom, you got like acne breaking out everywhere, or it starts out slow and it gets worse and worse and worse, and then it comes in, it gets really out of control. What that is that's the strep in the lymphatic system coming up to the surface, getting into the derma from the lymphatic system. And when that starts happening and that strep gets up in there, then the doctor says, antibiotics for your acne, antibiotics for your acne. That's what we got to do. And then the history of the last 70 years of doctors just trying to just squelch acne down in so many individuals and so many children and teenagers and adults, that all the streps got smart and they got more aggressive. And then now there's different forms of acne. Now there's different other problems and people suffer, and that's the acne world. And so what I would recommend to anyone is to make sure you're starving your strep and not starving yourself. And this is a prime example. You tune into the Medical Meme Cooking Show, you're going to learn how to eat to starve your strep. And when you starve your strep can't eat anymore, and it can't thrive, and it can't proliferate. And then you start killing it off without even trying to kill it off. and then your acne can get better and things can get better. It's amazing what could happen. And that's not even just using a lot of the tools in liver rescue right there. If you don't have all the medical medium books, just do a haul. Just go to Amazon.com. They're all on sale on Amazon.com. Just do a haul and get all the medical medium titles. Make sure it's not an imposter book, but go and, make sure you'll see Hay House is the publisher. That's one way to know it's not an imposter book. Hay House is the publisher. And so make sure you get a haul and you get all of the books so you can learn how to protect yourself. Lupus Free with Celery 333. I missed you, Lupus Free with Celery. Wow. Fly on the wall when someone says they do medical medium information to the T. Oh, when I hear to the T, oh my God. Oh my God. Bullshit. Bullshit. My God. Fly on the wall when someone, sorry about it, it's some spice got into my back of my throat, says they do medical medium information to the T and don't heal. I know they are not telling the truth because I am not perfect and have reversed lupus. Celery juice was a game changer to the T. Like, what do you mean medical medium? What are they even doing? Are they even following the books? Are they following any protocol? Are they even trying to even start a protocol? What are they eating? Are they eating a bunch of chocolate? Are they eating chocolate every day? Like, oh, here, I'll go and do this, but I'll eat a chocolate bar. Like, what are they doing? Where's their receipts? Where's their medical stuff? Where's their medical receipts? I want to see what the doctors are prescribing them. What are they being prescribed? What kind of drugs are they on? Right? What kind of medical treatments are they getting? Right? What kind of medical treatments are they getting every second? How about that? What about all kinds of stuff? Like, what's going on? I want to see the restaurant receipts. Every single restaurant they eat in, get the receipts out. Let's be honest. Let's be transparent. Let's be transparent. That's all. Show all the receipts. Go, I want to see your grocery store receipt. What's in there? What kind of frozen treats? What kind of bean burritos with canola oil in them? What kind of sauces have citric acid and natural flavors in there? I want to see all of the receipts. Be honest. Have integrity. God's watching you out there. So make sure you put it down on the table. You put your cards on the table, baby. If you're going to say you're doing it to the T, put your cards on the table. Where's your restaurant receipts? Where's your medical receipts? What friends' houses are you eating in? Where are you going? I want to know what you're doing. Do not throw medical medium under the bus because you got a social media profile and you can. Do not throw medical medium information or medical medium under the bus because you can't do what you need to do and so you're just jealous of other people healing and you're just going to talk shit. All right. Is that my rant for the day? Julia Greenwood said, my skin is now the best it has ever been due to this information. Thank you to both. Whoa, XX, amazing. Hugs, kisses, hugs, kisses. So the whole thing on like the wart thing, so earlier, like there's hand warts, there's body warts, people get them all over their body, skin tags and all of that. Dry skin's another one, wrinkles is another one. Let's go back to the liver here a little bit, so that's important to know. When the liver has years of getting clogged, and this can happen for so many reasons. So many people have done alcohol in their life and they've gone through a period of that. They've also done really high-fat diets. So they do high-fat diets now. I love how the medical industry and the alternative health, so health and healing, all the experts in alternative health have been pushing fat to death on people, pushing fat like nuts, like gangbusters, just fat, fat's good for you, fat's good for you, be on this fat, healthy fat, that fat, it's be on fat, just the whole bit. Meanwhile, their whole life, they were eating tons and tons of fat, and they don't want to break that because it's addictive as hell. So they're going to move to healthier fats. Okay, good, sure. Okay, I give you a gold star for moving to healthier fats. But the point is, don't preach like you know how to heal people when you don't know anything about it. What happens is our livers get sick from too much fat. And what you just saw right here at the Medical Medium Cooking Show, that sounds good, the Medical Medium Cooking Show. I like the way that sounds. And what you actually just saw is the pea guacamole. And it's all fat-free, overt fat-free, which is absolutely, amazing. Julia Greenwood, I love that. I love what you said earlier, that your skin's been the best. Vitiligo, rosacea, let's cover some of these, okay? So skin tags, let's go there, warts, all of that. Warts are a viral, so it's viral. It's a virus. But in order to have a wart virus pop out left and right, versus like skin tag and all that, is you have to have the virus living in your liver and cleaning up your liver, doing like the HMDS, doing the celery juice every day, cleaning up a lot of the foods that you shouldn't be eating, right? If you go through the medical medium books, really helps. You know, doing a 369 advanced really helps clean up the liver, so over time the wart virus can't survive, because the wart virus gets then attacked by your immune system and it gets cleaned up, so you're not gonna be breaking out with warts every minute and having to go to the dermatologist and getting the warts burned off or anything. So, and that's important to know. The other thing with skin tags and all that, it's also, you know, a dirty liver and dirty lymphatic system. So the skin fills up with toxins everywhere. When skin fills up with different varieties of toxins from different aspects of your life and exposure, including radiation, you know, like radiation too, and various elements of radiation, you'll start getting these kind of like, instead of a frog with 3 eyes, you get a skin tag. Okay, instead of like, there's a nuclear plant and there's a big pond near the nuclear plant, and if somebody really studies the fish and wildlife in that, in that pond, eventually they always find that 3-eyed frog somewhere. And that's what kind of skin tags become, moles and skin tags and skin growths and all that. They become like the 3-eyed frogs. And because what that is years and years and years, decades, and pre-life, when you were when you were in utero and you were in the womb, and mom and dad passed on from generations and generations. So what happens, there's a 3-eyed frog always somewhere, and it's just the toxins, it's the conglomerate of toxins that build up and sit in the skin forever. And then all it takes is some type of trigger, and then boom, you got the 3-eyed frog, which is like a skin tag, a mole, or something else, or some type of thing going on, some type of skin growth. And it happens all the time. It just happens to everybody. Actually happens to everybody. There's very few people it doesn't happen to. If you actually, just so you know, people in the industry, like people like, not even people in the entertainment industry or anything like that, they go to dermatologists more than anybody in the world, right? All the supermodels, they live in the dermatologist's office. They live there, not just at their cosmetic surgeon's office, but they live in their dermatologist's office, because they get a skin tag, they need it off. They get this, they need it off. Everybody grows something, on their body. So just give me the 411. Anyway, so cleaning up the liver, keeping the fats low, detoxing the liver, maybe a 369, maybe a mono cleanse for 3 weeks. Do so much. Clean up in the liver and move you forward. Vitiligo is an interesting one, right? That's the dermatoxin that comes from the Epstein-Barr with aluminum. That's aluminum. It means you got high in aluminum. So if you're a vitiligo person, you're high in aluminum, really high in aluminum. What that means is it's not the aluminum per se, it's the aluminum byproduct that just was released out of the Epstein-Barr, which is your mono. Epstein-Barr is mono. It's just the monovirus, mononucleosis. At some point in your life, it could have been a fever for a week. Your mononucleosis, and then went away. That Epstein-Barr virus feeds off of that aluminum. That aluminum then becomes released out of the Epstein-Barr virus, becomes a byproduct in its bathroom, being excreted. That excretion of aluminum byproduct becomes a dermatoxin because the liver is just too sluggish. And that dermatoxin ends up going to the skin and killing the melanin, killing the pigment, killing the skin. And what happens is when that happens, you end up with the white blotches and the white spots, and they could be anywhere, on your knees, and your feet, on your back. It's always on the face on a lot of people. It's always on the face, side of their face, their neck, on their wrists, on their elbows, on their hands, and that's what happens there. Rosacea is a combination of just dirty liver and dirty intestinal tract, a lot of different things in there. A lot of bacteria that shouldn't be there, overgrowth of a lot of different varieties of bacteria. You can also be slightly viral, but a lot of bacteria, including strep and C. diff and E. coli and staph, it all sits inside the intestinal tract. Colon and H. pylori is a big one. And rosacea means you're just it's time to start cleaning up the diet. It's getting it really cleaned up so we can get rid of all of that eczema rash, that lupus rash, because no doctor really knows. They're like, scratching her head, I'm gonna write lupus down on this chart because whatever, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna write eczema on this chart. Another doctor like, oh, it's rosacea. It's just like, well, what is it? All right, I'm gonna eat a cookie because I want my dessert after my guacamole. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna move this dummy over here. And I'm gonna find some cookies. If you guys don't mind, I am gonna do that now. You know, it's kind of a tough one. I'm kind of a savory kind of guy, right? But I do like a good cookie, so I'm kind of caught. Can I get the strep bacteria away from my cookies? There we go. Yeah, nothing like the props. Nothing like the props getting in the way. The fun props. I'm gonna move this over here. Okay, so let's take a look here. All right, Zoras said, my mom just overheard Anthony talking about and chopping cilantro and parsley, and she went to go chop some up to put on top of her lunch, ... telling me how good herbs are. Okay, that's mind-blowing, all right? That's a big deal. That is already a win. That's a win. That's a win. Remember that. Okay, I'm gonna grab one right here. I'm gonna grab the one that looks a little bit more burnt. Shame on me. Shame on me to do that, okay? Shame on me that I like them with a little crunch to them and a little burnt like that. Shame on me. These are dog-friendly, pet-friendly. Remember, it's a pet challenge coming up next week. Remember that. Did you guys pre-order? Did you pre-order the pet health book? Healing Your Pet? Am I chewing with my mouth open again? Yogi says, healed severe acne with medical meme information. That's incredible. Cookie Monster. Cookie Monster. So good. Check out Healing Your Pet medical medium book. There it is. I am proud of that book. You're going to be mind blown. You're going to be mind blown. I'm really proud of that book. I can't take all the credit. SOC. SOC gets, obviously, the credit for the information itself. I get the credit just for suffering through the whole process. A lot of people get those hand cysts, ganglia cysts, stuff like that, all the different hand cysts. Yeah. I mean, you can make those go away. Those hand cysts can be a thing of the past. A lot of times they got to blow up in the hand. Sinister King says, I have severe gut issues. I did the mono cleanse for 3 months. And after including, I'm chewing really loud. 3 months, and after including other foods back to my diet, I felt how much I've healed. I can eat way more without feeling much stings in the stomach. That's incredible. Sinister King, that's great. I'm going to put my hand over my mic a little bit. All right. I just got a little privacy to chew. Now I'm going to release my hand off the mic. Now I'm louder than ever. All right. So what happens is you definitely look, when it comes down to the cysts on the hands and things like that, is antiviral. Get the medical medium books. You can do any kind of antiviral maintenance protocol really in medical medium information and really help stop those cysts and cleaning up your diet. Don't eat pork. I wouldn't eat chicken. I wouldn't eat chicken. I'm not anti-animal protein if somebody wants to eat animal protein, but I wouldn't eat chicken if you got hand cysts. There's life-changing foods in New Edition. Please make sure you do that. Do a book haul. Just order the medical medium books. They're so inexpensive. It's insane. Oh, you can always go out there and buy a $7,000 program that gets you nowhere in the end. How about that? Or you can get a, $20 book and heal. The Wild Blueberry Babe says, how much of a role does stress play in acne? Well, stress lowers the immune system, and then strep that causes acne rises up. There it goes. He goes, Susanna says, please don't forget to tell us about those flat, dark, wart-like things on my back. I was mentioning it earlier about all the different skin tags and the wart-like things and the moles and a lot of different growths. If you listen back, I did talk about it pretty in depth. It's like the amount of junk that gets kind of clogged up in the liver and in the lymphatic system long-term. What it does is everybody's different kind of variety of toxins they have in their body and what they're dealing with. And it all surfaces back up into the skin, into the derma. And then you can get these green-eyed, these kind of three-eyed little frogs that show up everywhere I was talking about earlier. And yeah, we have to clean things out. We got to clean things up. We got to clean that liver up. We got to talk about maybe, the 369 cleanse. A really good question. Morgellons, you mentioned the cause was chemtrails. Morgellons. It's amazing how Morgellons just can't get the light of day. It cannot see the light of day out there. It's crazy how it's all about just clicks and bullshit and paid for crap and, a sinister, alternative and conventional system. Did you hear me? Sinister alternative and conventional system. Do you know alternative healing arts is in bed with conventional healing arts? Do you know they're just in bed together and they had no choice? Because if the alternative movement didn't get into bed with the conventional movement, what happens is the clinics would just get invaded by black suits with guns and just machine gun everybody. I can't tell you how many clinics over the years have gone through that. Respectable doctors, respectable alternative clinics that did not want to follow the theories of the conventional wisdom, and there's just a whole bunch of they swatted them, just shot up their places, couldn't see any more patients. Like, I can't tell you how many times that happened in the last 30, 40 years, 50 years. It's insane. So alternative medicine had to kind of conjoin into conventional, and it's just one smorgasbord of shit. And it's sad because you can't sift through it all, because you need certain things in conventional medicine and you need certain things in alternative medicine, but you kind of don't know where you're going anymore. And then tack on AI and all that crap, where it's all crap that isn't real. Things that aren't good for you get all thrown into AI. So you go and you say, oh, let me go try that. Just because AI says it doesn't mean it's good for you, but that's what happened. It became like that. Okay. Can you please say hello to my mom, Christine? She is 100 years old and follows you faithfully. God bless her. God bless her, truly. Hello, Christine. I am beyond proud of you. I can't say it enough, seriously. And that is just an unbelievable, amazing family that you have, both of you, your mom and you. Oh, incredible. Nicole says, I've been battling, these are on IG right here, I've been battling hives for the last 3 years, taking antihistamines and cortisone. How do I get off of this? Any way to make these bigger, these ones? For some reason, they're smaller than the other one. They're like microscopic. Black Island Girl says, can you, battling, the hives. Oh, the hives, you've got to clean up the foods. Nicole, got to clean up the foods. We got to look in the medical meeting books and start eliminating some of those foods that in the MM books. Start eliminating some of those foods so the hives can go away, so the liver cleans up, so you can clean up some of that viral matter in the liver and all the neurotoxins, actually. You clean up all that stuff, dermatoxins and neurotoxins, and move past it. Whimsy142 says, the medical medium heavy metal detox smoothie is amazing. It helped me with my depression, anxiety by day 3 because the metals were behind your anxiety. It was a 30-day challenge. Incredible. The metals were behind your anxiety. And you got rid of a bunch of metals, like a whole bunch of probably topical metals that were in the way. Now you're going deeper if you do it again, and you go deeper. You do it again. Have you ever read the Brain Saver books? You got to have your thinking cap on when you delve into those. There's so much information in every single sentence. It is insane. Information is mind-blowing. 444 Alexandra says, I've been dealing with exercise intolerance. Please help. And you've been dealing with fatigue too. That's central nervous system right there. That's central nervous system right there. Alexandra's. That's vagus nerve. Happens is if you can't exercise, you got intolerance to exercising, that's because when you're exercising, you're moving around two things. You're moving around your vagus nerves. Nerves, people. Nerves, not vagus nerve. I'm a vagus nerve expert. Yeah, I'm a vagus nerve expert, and I'm a podcast doctor. Oh, I'm a vagus nerve expert, and I'm an influencer. I'm a vagus nerve. You're not an expert. You said vagus nerve. You're allowed to say vagus nerve, but you got to know there's two of them. So try to say nerves when you can. What happens is the vagus nerves get inflamed, and when they get inflamed, and you start exercising, and you're, dancing, and you're running, and you're swimming, or whatever you're doing, riding your bike or taking walks, man, your nerves are just they're gonna be on fire, and you're gonna be like, I got an exercise intolerance. Really what you have is, you have nerves that are slightly agitated, slightly inflamed, and slightly swollen all through the body, probably cranial nerves too, coming out with your vagus nerves, the cranial nerves all coming out and down. And what's happening is they're infiltrated by viral matter, like neurotoxins from viruses being eliminated, and toxic heavy metals like mercury, especially mercury. That's a mercury one. And then you can't exercise yet until you're healed, till you're healing. But yet you need to move and exercise to keep your blood going, to keep your muscles on you, along with making sure you get enough glucose and everything with medical medium information. But the point is that in mineral salts, trace mineral salts, like from celery juice, so you can keep your muscles on glucose and trace mineral salts. Remember that? That's medical medium information, really important. What happens is once you clean up these neurotoxins and you do antivirals and you start knocking the viruses down with info, you can start exercising more and more and more. And then you get away from that exercise intolerance, but completely understand it's not easy. Kristen says, I had extremely painful cystic acne. Thank you for the information so I can finally heal. Cystic acne is brutal, absolutely brutal. So I'm so glad that you're healed up. You're the only person, so stay human folks says on YouTube, you're the only person that makes any sense in health. Been listening to you since 2018. That's all? Just kidding. That's actually a long time now. 2018, whoa, we're going on, 8 years? Maybe depending on what time, maybe 8.5 years. You might be almost 9 years now. God bless you and thank you. That's been a long time actually. And I'm honored. I'm very proud of you, truly. And I try to make sense. I try my best to make sense when I can. No, thank you. I'm honored. SSC makes sense, and I'm just trying to make sense. I'm trying to get the information out. You guys know I love you, okay? Are we going to do more of these or what? I hope so. So let me remind you, there's a pet challenge coming up. It's next week. Look out for the emails. Make sure you get on medicalmedium.com. Make sure you get on my email list. Please get on that email list, okay? All right. And we're going to be talking about the pet health book too, Healing Your Pet. We're going to be talking about that too during the challenge. It's a pet challenge. It's kind of like human and pet challenge, so keep that in mind. If you're somebody that doesn't have a pet, you should be there still, because you still should be drinking your CJ. You still should be drinking your heavy metal detox smoothie. You still should be doing that anyway. And if you get a pet someday, you should be giving that to your pet properly. Steffi Synergy 144, great number, great handle. Healed severe eczema since birth, thanks to medical medium, 7 years, eternally grateful. Oh my God, incredible. I think people underestimate the mystery illness and the chronic mystery illness struggle. I think they underestimate it greatly out there. I think we live in a world where unless somebody experiences it, it doesn't exist. If they didn't experience that hardship of struggling from chronic illness and being in bed, Mattress Island on Mattress Island and Couch Island, if they didn't experience that Mattress Island situation, fighting for their life every single day, not sure if they're going to live or die, losing friends and losing, jobs and losing their careers. So many people have with chronic illness, or just trying to fight to hold on to all of it. I think unless you experience it, you're just not going to know, unless you're in the family of someone who is going through that, and then you can feel it, you can take it on, and it's true. That's how it works. But I think what happens out there in the health world and the world is you see like a lot of young people that are indestructible in the moment, and they think just because they got their diet tweaked and they're exercising and working out and training, they think they know everything. But they won't know everything until they get kicked, maybe they contract a bug or something, or pick up too many Epstein-Barrs, or a couple of simplexes, or shingles, and a couple of streps, and they pick up these things, or they get a dose of heavy metal from a medical treatment or something, dose of heavy metals. And then they're in a position now where they are like, oh my God, I can't do the workouts I want to do. I can't do the training I want to do. My whole face is blowing up with acne now, so I can't do the influencer ship crap, and I can't do this and that. And then they'll wake up and they'll be like, okay, no, I'm in trouble. And maybe they'll get a taste of what chronic illness is really like. Chronic illness journey is just absolutely it's a struggle, just doctor to doctor. And when I say that, I'm not saying that lightly. Doctor to doctor is a brutal thing in life. Western Shambhala says, I've been doing the morning cleanse for 8 years. I did 2, 3, 6, 9 advanced cleanses back to back. Incredible how it moved me forward in my health, life-saving. Absolutely insane. Zen veteran said 5.5 years, 5.5 years. Yeah, I see a picture of me is that a picture of me in your handle? Oh my God. Unless I'm seeing things, I'm seeing an optical illusion, or I'm seeing a mirage. 5.5 years on medical medium, and I've healed PTSD, depression, and anxiety. That is nothing to shake a stick at. Forever grateful. That's nothing. Zen veteran, that is nothing to shake a stick at. Cannot shake a stick at that. Depression and PTSD, brutal. And anxiety, I'm proud of you, proud. Medical media info has taken me out of the hell and chronic illness. So grateful. Thank you, AW. Thank you. God bless you. I think what happens is that, like I was saying before, I'm just going to go back to a little message that I want to express to you, is that if the doctor to doctor is truly part of the process. I mean, I heard throughout the years, 100 doctors. I'm like, what do you mean 100 doctors? No, I can prove it. I can show you the receipts, 100 doctors. And it was just like, it's mortifying in so many ways, and just really just unbelievable. And I think that people underestimate this unless they've ever gone through this process, unless they've ever, experienced this process, unless they ever went through it. And then the symptoms, of course, and the struggle, and staying up at night, not because you can't sleep, but because you're really worried and you don't know where your next pain or ache or symptom is going to be. I think the bottom line is, I think we just have to understand that the chronically ill are still being swept under the carpet. Their mystery illness is still a mystery. I don't care what name is given to them these days. And the testing I'm noticing, because I have so many doctor people who, associates, friends, whatever you want to call it, people I've worked with for 3 decades or more, and that I've known for a long time, that come to me and they ask me questions about information. They ask me things, and they'll tell me about what they're seeing now on the forefront of testing, and it still doesn't answer the questions, and it still doesn't provide somebody a path forward that is really customized to healing the problem. Check out medical medium information in the books, okay? Miriam Aker says, I'm new to medical medium, but it's doing miracles. I've been following AW, but it's true what he says. Unless you get to a point that your health decline is when you will do anything. Anyway, look, God bless you guys, okay? Thank you for your time at the Medical Medium Cooking Show. Make sure you pre-order Healing Your Pet, the Medical Medium book, Healing Your Pet. Please get a pre-order in. It's not going to be in stock when it comes out. Please get one in now. It's coming up pretty soon. You may as well do it now. And check out Medical Medium, all the Medical Medium books and titles, of course. they're there for you. Anyway, I love you guys, okay? Be good. So Dad, you had a passion for fruit trees as a kid.
I was focused on nature. We always picked wild fruits like berries, raspberries, blackberries, even wild strawberries. They were small but delicious. And mulberries. There were giant trees back then of mulberries. In the end, it's the lesson I learned. It's what really matters. It's nature that teaches you the most and means the most.
Because God and nature are really one and the same.
So true.
So Dad, you had a passion for fruit trees as a kid.
I was focused on nature. We always picked wild fruits like berries, raspberries, blackberries, even wild strawberries. They were small but delicious. And mulberries. There were giant trees back then of mulberries. In the end, it's the lesson I learned. It's what really matters. It's nature that teaches you the most and means the most.
Because God and nature are really one and the same.
So true.
So Dad, you had a passion for fruit trees as a kid.
I was focused on nature. We always picked wild fruits like berries, raspberries, blackberries, even wild strawberries. They were small but delicious. And mulberries. There were giant trees back then of mulberries. In the end, it's the lesson I learned. It's what really matters. It's nature that teaches you the most and means the most.
Because God and nature are really one and the same.
So true.
So Dad, you had a passion for fruit trees as a kid.
I was focused on nature. We always picked wild fruits like berries, raspberries, blackberries, even wild strawberries. They were small but delicious. And mulberries. There were giant trees back then of mulberries. In the end, it's the lesson I learned. It's what really matters. It's nature that teaches you the most and means the most.
Because God and nature are really one and the same.
So true.
So Dad, you had a passion for fruit trees as a kid.
I was focused on nature. We always picked wild fruits like berries, raspberries, blackberries, even wild strawberries. They were small but delicious. And mulberries. There were giant trees back then of mulberries. In the end, it's the lesson I learned. It's what really matters. It's nature that teaches you the most and means the most.
Because God and nature are really one and the same.
So true.
So Dad, you had a passion for fruit trees as a kid.
I was focused on nature. We always picked wild fruits like berries, raspberries, blackberries, even wild strawberries. They were small but delicious. And mulberries. There were giant trees back then of mulberries. In the end, it's the lesson I learned. It's what really matters. It's nature that teaches you the most and means the most.
Because God and nature are really one and the same.
So true.
So Dad, you had a passion for fruit trees as a kid.
I was focused on nature. We always picked wild fruits like berries, raspberries, blackberries, even wild strawberries. They were small but delicious. And mulberries. There were giant trees back then of mulberries. In the end, it's the lesson I learned. It's what really matters. It's nature that teaches you the most and means the most.
Because God and nature are really one and the same.
So true.
So, Dad, you had a passion for fruit trees as a kid.
I was focused on nature. We always picked wild fruits like berries, raspberries, blackberries, even wild strawberries. They were small but delicious. And mulberries. There were giant trees back then of mulberries. In the end, it's the lesson I learned. It's what really matters. It's nature that teaches you the most and means the most.
Because God and nature are really one and the same.
So true.
So, Dad, you had a passion for fruit trees as a kid.
I was focused on nature. We always picked wild fruits like berries, raspberries, blackberries, even wild strawberries. They were small but delicious. And mulberries. There were giant trees back then of mulberries. In the end, it's the lesson I learned. It's what really matters. It's nature that teaches you the most and means the most.
Because God and nature are really one and the same.
So true.
So, Dad, you had a passion for fruit trees as a kid.
I was focused on nature. We always picked wild fruits like berries, raspberries, blackberries, even wild strawberries. They were small but delicious. And mulberries. There were giant trees back then of mulberries. In the end, it's the lesson I learned. It's what really matters. It's nature that teaches you the most and means the most.
Because God and nature are really one and the same.
So true.
So, Dad, you had a passion for fruit trees as a kid.
I was focused on nature. We always picked wild fruits like berries, raspberries, blackberries, even wild strawberries. They were small but delicious. And mulberries. There were giant trees back then of mulberries. In the end, it's the lesson I learned. It's what really matters. It's nature that teaches you the most and means the most.
Because God and nature are really one and the same.
So true.
So, Dad, you had a passion for fruit trees as a kid.
I was focused on nature. We always picked wild fruits like berries, raspberries, blackberries, even wild strawberries. They were small but delicious. And mulberries. There were giant trees back then of mulberries. In the end, it's the lesson I learned. It's what really matters. It's nature that teaches you the most and means the most.
Because God and nature are really one and the same.
So true.
So, Dad, you had a passion for fruit trees as a kid.
I was focused on nature. We always picked wild fruits like berries, raspberries, blackberries, even wild strawberries. They were small but delicious. And mulberries. There were giant trees back then of mulberries. In the end, it's the lesson I learned. It's what really matters. It's nature that teaches you the most and means the most.
Because God and nature are really one and the same.
So true.
So, Dad, you had a passion for fruit trees as a kid.
I was focused on nature. We always picked wild fruits like berries, raspberries, blackberries, even wild strawberries. They were small but delicious. And mulberries. There were giant trees back then of mulberries. In the end, it's the lesson I learned. It's what really matters. It's nature that teaches you the most and means the most.
Because God and nature are really one and the same.
So true.
So Dad, you had a passion for fruit trees as a kid.
I was focused on nature. We always picked wild fruits like berries, raspberries, blackberries, even wild strawberries. They were small but delicious. And mulberries. There were giant trees back then of mulberries. In the end, it's the lesson I learned. It's what really matters. It's nature that teaches you the most and means the most.
Because God and nature are really one and the same.
So true.
So Dad, you had a passion for fruit trees as a kid.
I was focused on nature. We always picked wild fruits like berries, raspberries, blackberries, even wild strawberries. They were small but delicious. And mulberries. There were giant trees back then of mulberries. In the end, it's the lesson I learned. It's what really matters. It's nature that teaches you the most and means the most.
Because God and nature are really one and the same.
So true.
So Dad, you had a passion for fruit trees as a kid.
I was focused on nature. We always picked wild fruits like berries, raspberries, blackberries, even wild strawberries. They were small but delicious. And mulberries. There were giant trees back then of mulberries. In the end, it's the lesson I learned. It's what really matters. It's nature that teaches you the most and means the most.
Because God and nature are really one and the same.
So true.
So Dad, you had a passion for fruit trees as a kid.
I was focused on nature. We always picked wild fruits like berries, raspberries, blackberries, even wild strawberries. They were small but delicious. And mulberries. There were giant trees back then of mulberries. In the end, it's the lesson I learned. It's what really matters. It's nature that teaches you the most and means the most.
Because God and nature are really one and the same.
So true.
So Dad, you had a passion for fruit trees as a kid.
I was focused on nature. We always picked wild fruits like berries, raspberries, blackberries, even wild strawberries. They were small but delicious. And mulberries. There were giant trees back then of mulberries. In the end, it's the lesson I learned. It's what really matters. It's nature that teaches you the most and means the most.
Because God and nature are really one and the same.
So true.
So Dad, you had a passion for fruit trees as a kid.
I was focused on nature. We always picked wild fruits like berries, raspberries, blackberries, even wild strawberries. They were small but delicious. And mulberries. There were giant trees back then of mulberries. In the end, it's the lesson I learned. It's what really matters. It's nature that teaches you the most and means the most.
Because God and nature are really one and the same.
So true.
So Dad, you had a passion for fruit trees as a kid.
I was focused on nature. We always picked wild fruits like berries, raspberries, blackberries, even wild strawberries. They were small but delicious. And mulberries. There were giant trees back then of mulberries. In the end, it's the lesson I learned. It's what really matters. It's nature that teaches you the most and means the most.
Because God and nature are really one and the same.
So true.
So, Dad, you had a passion for fruit trees as a kid.
I was focused on nature. We always picked wild fruits like berries, raspberries, blackberries, even wild strawberries. They were small but delicious. And mulberries. There were giant trees back then of mulberries. In the end, it's the lesson I learned. It's what really matters. It's nature that teaches you the most and means the most.
Because God and nature are really one and the same.
So true.
So, Dad, you had a passion for fruit trees as a kid.
I was focused on nature. We always picked wild fruits like berries, raspberries, blackberries, even wild strawberries. They were small but delicious. And mulberries. There were giant trees back then of mulberries. In the end, it's the lesson I learned. It's what really matters. It's nature that teaches you the most and means the most.
Because God and nature are really one and the same.
So true.
So, Dad, you had a passion for fruit trees as a kid.
I was focused on nature. We always picked wild fruits like berries, raspberries, blackberries, even wild strawberries. They were small but delicious. And mulberries. There were giant trees back then of mulberries. In the end, it's the lesson I learned. It's what really matters. It's nature that teaches you the most and means the most.
Because God and nature are really one and the same.
So true.
So, Dad, you had a passion for fruit trees as a kid.
I was focused on nature. We always picked wild fruits like berries, raspberries, blackberries, even wild strawberries. They were small but delicious. And mulberries. There were giant trees back then of mulberries. In the end, it's the lesson I learned. It's what really matters. It's nature that teaches you the most and means the most.
Because God and nature are really one and the same.
So true.
So, Dad, you had a passion for fruit trees as a kid.
I was focused on nature. We always picked wild fruits like berries, raspberries, blackberries, even wild strawberries. They were small but delicious. And mulberries. There were giant trees back then of mulberries. In the end, it's the lesson I learned. It's what really matters. It's nature that teaches you the most and means the most.
Because God and nature are really one and the same.
So true.
So, Dad, you had a passion for fruit trees as a kid.
I was focused on nature. We always picked wild fruits like berries, raspberries, blackberries, even wild strawberries. They were small but delicious. And mulberries. There were giant trees back then of mulberries. In the end, it's the lesson I learned. It's what really matters. It's nature that teaches you the most and means the most.
Because God and nature are really one and the same.
So true.
So, Dad, you had a passion for fruit trees as a kid.
I was focused on nature. We always picked wild fruits like berries, raspberries, blackberries, even wild strawberries. They were small but delicious. And mulberries. There were giant trees back then of mulberries. In the end, it's the lesson I learned. It's what really matters. It's nature that teaches you the most and means the most.
Because God and nature are really one and the same.
So true.
So, Dad, you had a passion for fruit trees as a kid.
I was focused on nature. We always picked wild fruits like berries, raspberries, blackberries, even wild strawberries. They were small but delicious. And mulberries. There were giant trees back then of mulberries. In the end, it's the lesson I learned. It's what really matters. It's nature that teaches you the most and means the most.
Because God and nature are really one and the same.
So true.
So, Dad, you had a passion for fruit trees as a kid.
I was focused on nature. We always picked wild fruits like berries, raspberries, blackberries, even wild strawberries. They were small but delicious. And mulberries. There were giant trees back then of mulberries. In the end, it's the lesson I learned. It's what really matters. It's nature that teaches you the most and means the most.
Because God and nature are really one and the same.
So true.
So, Dad, you had a passion for fruit trees as a kid.
I was focused on nature. We always picked wild fruits like berries, raspberries, blackberries, even wild strawberries. They were small but delicious. And mulberries. There were giant trees back then of mulberries. In the end, it's the lesson I learned. It's what really matters. It's nature that teaches you the most and means the most.
Because God and nature are really one and the same.
So true.
So, Dad, you had a passion for fruit trees as a kid.
I was focused on nature. We always picked wild fruits like berries, raspberries, blackberries, even wild strawberries. They were small but delicious. And mulberries. There were giant trees back then of mulberries. In the end, it's the lesson I learned. It's what really matters. It's nature that teaches you the most and means the most.
Because God and nature are really one and the same.
So true.
So, Dad, you had a passion for fruit trees as a kid.
I was focused on nature. We always picked wild fruits like berries, raspberries, blackberries, even wild strawberries. They were small but delicious. And mulberries. There were giant trees back then of mulberries. In the end, it's the lesson I learned. It's what really matters. It's nature that teaches you the most and means the most.
Because God and nature are really one and the same.
So true.
So, Dad, you had a passion for fruit trees as a kid.
I was focused on nature. We always picked wild fruits like berries, raspberries, blackberries, even wild strawberries. They were small but delicious. And mulberries. There were giant trees back then of mulberries. In the end, it's the lesson I learned. It's what really matters. It's nature that teaches you the most and means the most.
Because God and nature are really one and the same.
So true.
So, Dad, you had a passion for fruit trees as a kid.
I was focused on nature. We always picked wild fruits like berries, raspberries, blackberries, even wild strawberries. They were small but delicious. And mulberries. There were giant trees back then of mulberries. In the end, it's the lesson I learned. It's what really matters. It's nature that teaches you the most and means the most.
Because God and nature are really one and the same.
So true.
So Dad, you had a passion for fruit trees as a kid.
I was focused on nature. We always picked wild fruits like berries, raspberries, blackberries, even wild strawberries. They were small but delicious. And mulberries. There were giant trees back then of mulberries. In the end, it's the lesson I learned. It's what really matters. It's nature that teaches you the most and means the most.
Because God and nature are really one and the same.
So true.
So Dad, you had a passion for fruit trees as a kid.
I was focused on nature. We always picked wild fruits like berries, raspberries, blackberries, even wild strawberries. They were small but delicious. And mulberries. There were giant trees back then of mulberries. In the end, it's the lesson I learned. It's what really matters. It's nature that teaches you the most and means the most.
Because God and nature are really one and the same.
So true.
So Dad, you had a passion for fruit trees as a kid.
I was focused on nature. We always picked wild fruits like berries, raspberries, blackberries, even wild strawberries. They were small but delicious. And mulberries. There were giant trees back then of mulberries. In the end, it's the lesson I learned. It's what really matters. It's nature that teaches you the most and means the most.
Because God and nature are really one and the same.
So true.
So Dad, you had a passion for fruit trees as a kid.
I was focused on nature. We always picked wild fruits like berries, raspberries, blackberries, even wild strawberries. They were small but delicious. And mulberries. There were giant trees back then of mulberries. In the end, it's the lesson I learned. It's what really matters. It's nature that teaches you the most and means the most.
Because God and nature are really one and the same.
So true.
So Dad, you had a passion for fruit trees as a kid.
I was focused on nature. We always picked wild fruits like berries, raspberries, blackberries, even wild strawberries. They were small but delicious. And mulberries. There were giant trees back then of mulberries. In the end, it's the lesson I learned. It's what really matters. It's nature that teaches you the most and means the most.
Because God and nature are really one and the same.
So true.
So Dad, you had a passion for fruit trees as a kid.
I was focused on nature. We always picked wild fruits like berries, raspberries, blackberries, even wild strawberries. They were small but delicious. And mulberries. There were giant trees back then of mulberries. In the end, it's the lesson I learned. It's what really matters. It's nature that teaches you the most and means the most.
Because God and nature are really one and the same.
So true.
So Dad, you had a passion for fruit trees as a kid.
I was focused on nature. We always picked wild fruits like berries, raspberries, blackberries, even wild strawberries. They were small but delicious. And mulberries. There were giant trees back then of mulberries. In the end, it's the lesson I learned. It's what really matters. It's nature that teaches you the most and means the most.
Because God and nature are really one and the same.
So true.
So So Dad, you had a passion for fruit trees as a kid.
I was focused on nature. We always picked wild fruits like berries, raspberries, blackberries, even wild strawberries. They were small but delicious. And mulberries. There were giant trees back then of mulberries. In the end,